Well, what we're going to need to maintain this Stihl, what is this, MS261c, is safety glasses, because we're going to be using compressed air. So we'll need a compressor, a hose, and then some form of air valve. We're going to need a flat file, and that's just to grind down the little lip on the bar here. We're going to need a sharpener for the teeth. We are going to need this little tool, which is basically a socket with a screwdriver welded onto it. I've always called this a scrunch. I don't know if that's the proper term, but that's what I've always called it. So we'll need the scrunch, and then we'll need some heavy duty grease as well. And then also gonna get some nitrile gloves. That way we can kind of keep our hands clean and everything. So not too many items for this, but the knowledge around this is, I guess, the most important part. We'll go ahead and get started. We got the gloves on, and first we will unscrew these, get this housing unit loose. What's nice about Stihl is that these nuts don't come off of this unit, so you can't really lose them, and I like that because on the Craftsman models, these nuts come off and then you have to kind of keep track of everything. So this comes off, and you can see the mix of sawdust and bar oil and dirt and grime and all that. So that's what the compressed air is really good for. We'll pop the chain off of the sprocket here, get the safety glasses on, and then we will blow all of this out of here. Actually, first, while we have the air going, we'll pop this housing unit off, and then we'll take the air filter out. Because blowing out the air filter is another item of business. You can see it's a little dusty. So we will use the compressed air, blow out the air filter, kind of blow out this housing unit, kind of just give it a quick once over all around with air, dislodge any sawdust, and then we'll start working on the sprocket. I always like to blow it over a garbage can. Obviously some of it's going to come up, but that's why we have the safety glasses on. Now that everything's blown out, we can screw this air filter back in, pop this housing unit back on, all right, that's done. Next, we'll take off this little cotter pin here, not really a cotter pin, but this little E-clip. And this thing is pretty jumpy, so we'll be careful. Okay, and this essentially holds on this washer, which then holds on the sprocket, and we'll remember to flip this just so there's even wear and tear. And this pops out, and that gives us access to the needle here, which we want to grease up and make sure everything's all lubed up. And essentially what this does, this is the chain brake. If you notice, when I loosen the chain brake, everything in here, oh no, it's this outer ring. When the chain brake is on, it kind of stops everything from moving in here. When I take this off, then this winds up spinning. So we'll take our grease, and I just use a little bit on the finger, lube up this central sprocket, and then we will put our cage back on. I took this off and set it down, so we will flip this. We'll put our washer back on. And then we will try to get this E-clip back on. This can be pretty tough. So what I like to do is, just use my thumb. Sometimes it can be difficult. What I like to do is get it on as far as I can go with my finger, and then take this, cover it, and then kind of tap it in. Gotta be careful with these because sometimes they can fly off. So that is all set. We want to blow out our bar, make sure that everything is clean on the track, and I always feel for any bowing on here. Sometimes with heat and friction over time, there's a little lip that forms basically the track. Sometimes these can bow out, and that's what the flat file is for. You want to make sure that this is nice and flush. That's actually sitting pretty well. So always just good to give it a nice once over. All right, finally we'll blow the bar out. And then I always like to flip the bar as well, and that just helps kind of make sure that the wear and tear is even across all the implements. So this is done here. Chain can go back on. We always want the angle on the top of the bar of the chain, the angle of the teeth to be facing away from us. Okay. You will make sure the teeth fit back into that sprocket. And for tightness, it's actually pretty good. You always want to make sure the chainsaw chain, let's get this set in here. Actually, I can tighten it a little bit more. This way. When you snap that chain, you want there to be a little gap between the bottom of the track and the teeth, but it just snap back in. So that's pretty good tightness there. Make sure it sits on there. And then this can go back on. We'll tighten these, and sometimes when you tighten these, the chain kind of tightens as well. So usually give it a hand tight. And then check the chain again and see that's a little tight. I'm going to tighten this even more. It's going to tighten that chain. So we'll loosen this just a hair. We will loosen the chain just a bit, about a quarter turn. And another quarter. Okay, now we can finish tightening these down and give it a little bit of force. There we go. And that's sliding really nicely. Then finally, last order of business is to sharpen the chain. What we can do on these Stihl chainsaws, there's always a green length And over time, and this is a pretty used chain, over time that one of the links is painted green, and that just indicates a nice starting point, at least for sharpening. Let's see if it's on this side. Actually, I can take my glasses off now. Well, we'll kind of keep in mind where we start. So I like to set the brake, kind of grab the saw, press it between my legs here, kind of put it in my crotch area for stabilization, and kind of lean into it. That way I can sharpen this chain. So as you can see here, there's a saw orientation picture. So what we'll want is to go across the bar, and what I like to do is hold my thumb here just to stabilize it. And that is pretty sharp. So what you want to do is you always want to sharpen the teeth evenly. So if I did 5 or 6 passes this way, I'm gonna hop to the next one in orientation, and I'm gonna do 6 as well, and that just helps kind of wear the chain down evenly. And with these, there's alternating teeth. And I will let go of the chain brake, bring that one to the top, kind of keep in mind which one I ended off at. And just keep working down. Yeah, and that's feeling real nice. Oh yeah. So when it comes time to flip this, you can see here, this picture is orientated with the direction of the saw. So now it's time to do this side. You want to keep this sharpener level, even strength all the way across. Yeah, that's feeling good. So then again, we'll hop teeth because they're alternating orientation. Hop teeth again. We'll continue that through the rest of the saw. So that's how to maintain and semi-clean, or at least prepare for the next use, a Stihl chainsaw. Thanks for watching, everyone.